name is Derek, and I'm the Chief Talent Officer at Abano, and I'm really excited to be on this webinar this evening with ADC Warriors. To give you a bit of background about myself, I am based in Sydney here in Australia, and I've been a senior leader in recruitment for close to 30 years now. And my focus has always been bringing international candidates into the Australian and New Zealand market spaces. And I'm quite passionate about that. And the reason for that is because I'm also first generation Australian. My parents, when they came over, were immigrants from Italy, and I understand the challenges they had when they came to Australia for a better lifestyle. And doing this role now for close to 30 years, we're quite used to understanding all the challenges everyone has in regards to relocating, visas, childcare, access to Medicare, healthcare systems. So what we wanted to do was design a program that was really suited to help people make that transition and take a lot of the stress that they may have from that relocating over to Australia or to New Zealand away, and support them as much as we possibly can. Really thankful to Dr. Nazia and ADC Warrior Academy. When we thought of this concept, we went to market to speak to some education providers, and Dr. Nazia and her team really stood out to us, and amazing facilities in Brisbane, and really excited that we've been able to develop this program and help support international dentists who do have to sit the ADC exams and to get qualified and get that experience, and then register and work in Australia or New Zealand as qualified dentists. I'm just going to share my screen, and hopefully that this will come up if it all works well. You probably have, I'll try to touch on everything very briefly this evening, but if there is more questions, I'm happy to do another webinar or go through it in a bit more detail. We are developing a bit of a brochure, and hopefully we'll be able to have that out in the next week or two. Great. Hopefully that screen has come up for everyone.
We can see that already. Very excited.
Great. Excellent. So Abano Healthcare, we are a dental support organisation in Australia and New Zealand. We're 230 practices across both Australia and New Zealand, and we operate under three major brands. So Maven Dental, Lumino the Dentist in New Zealand, and 1300 Smiles in Australia. And we have about 30 independent brands. Now, the independent brands and practices are predominantly our specialist practices. So we have 20 specialist practices across the group. So orthopedics, orthodontics, periodontics, and endodontics in New Zealand, and some oral surgery practices also. So from a practice location, as you can see, we're all over the east coast of Australia, right from Cairns right down to Tasmania, and then we have 10 practices in South Australia and 10 practices in Perth also. And in New Zealand, we are all over the North Island and also on the South Island of New Zealand also. So great locations that you can sort of look at living in, and opportunities to explore some wonderful places in the world also. When we looked at supporting international dentists who do need to sit the ADC exams, the one comment we were getting is that students were struggling to find experience or get experience in the Australian market space and have a workplace that was flexible in providing them time off to go and study, give them experience navigating the ADC exams, and also experience understanding the Australian clinical environment. So what we designed is we designed a two-stream process. Stream one being for international dentists who would like to come and work in Australia but have to work as a dental assistant for a period of time while they study to sit their final exam. And then stream two, which is our transition to practice and as a dentist. So once you've registered, giving that opportunity and that support to move into practice, and set yourself up for success in a new practice as a newly qualified, Australian or New Zealand registered dentist, and using that experience that you have brought from back home into the Australian and New Zealand market space. So the next couple of slides, they're a bit text heavy, So I'll try to go through them as much as I can, but I will share this slide with Dr. Nazia and her team, and they can definitely share this with everyone also down the track. So stream one, and I'm looking on this one for an Australian basis, and I'll touch on New Zealand down the track. So what we've decided is once you've completed and passed your part one exams with ADC Warriors, they would introduce you to Abano, and we would commence the recruitment process with you, which I'll touch on a bit later in the presentation. From there, you'd accept an offer and a position with Abano, and there's a few things that we need to cover off before we get there, but I thought I'd jump into the offer package because that's probably what everyone's really keen to understand. So for an international dentist coming to work in Australia or Australia, there's three sort of avenues that you can look at. You can look at an independent work visa, which can be a student visa, working holiday visa, or you may be on a partner visa. Your partner may be working on an employer-sponsored visa. These are generally have various conditions involved, and the various costs is absorbed by yourself. They can fluctuate between $500 Australian dollars to about 2,000 Australian dollars. The other option is independent PR visa. You've already secured this independent visa, which is the 190. This is your permanent residency visa to work in Australia. There's generally no visa restrictions with this visa or conditions that they have. And that cost generally sits with yourself moving forward. What we would like to do is bring in the employer-sponsored work visa into the equation also. So this is a visa that allows us to sponsor international people to come and work in Australia for a period of time. So we do have this on hold currently for the next couple of weeks while we navigate some workplace discussions in regards to the Australian Healthcare Award that's happening at the moment at the federal government level. Once that's occurred, we will then sort of initiate communication in regards to the employer-sponsored work visa. But under this scheme, we can sponsor an international dentist as a dental assistant for 2 years to work in Australia. And we can apply for that 2 times. So you're allowed to work under that visa for a maximum of 4 years in Australia as a dental assistant. Now, these visas are profession specific, so we can only have you working in the position that you have been nominated for. So unfortunately, we can't bring you in as a dentist because you don't have registration in Australia for the time being if you're doing Stream 1. So under this visa, we would bring you in as a dental assistant for up to 2 years to give you time to pass your exams. And I'll talk about that exam progression and how quickly you can move into the next phase of your career once you've passed that exam also. From the employer-sponsored work visa, what we would do is we will provide you with a migration agent, which is Ernst & Young. We would cover all the employer costs and visa applicant costs for this financial year. That's approximately 11,000 Australian dollars to get that visa into Australia. Unfortunately, at this stage, we wouldn't be covering partner or children visas for this stage of Stream 1. We just need to look at a couple of extra things on this one. But to give you an indication, if you had a partner, it's $3,210 Australian currently for their visa, and it's $805 per child. Again, this is just sort of high level. Each person's at a different background, and each advice that we give everyone's going to be very specific to your personal situation. So I'm talking very broadly here at the moment. From an offer package perspective, we would support you with relocation. If you're coming from international, it's generally up to $20,000 that we help you with relocation. That goes towards your flights across, 2 to 4 weeks short-term accommodation when you've arrived, hire car arrival for a couple of weeks. And then generally you can help ship some of your goods and personal belongings also over. We will also offer in that 2-year period a continuing education allowance that is to allow you to do your ADC studies through ADC Warriors. to sit the ADC exam, and to accommodate travel and accommodation, and that's up to a total of 20,000 Australian dollars. During that time, we also have 1 week paid study leave, which will allow you to go and sit the exams. And currently, based on the current award that we have here in Australia for dental assistants, we would guarantee a salary of 70,000 base, plus our superannuation pension on top of that, while you're working as a dental assistant, to give you the opportunity to earn some money while you're here in Australia. Obviously, with this, there is an agreement for a 2-year commitment period on your behalf into it, with the financial outlay that we're putting into it. And then there are some various other applicant costs also. So there are English tests, police clearances, and medical assessments that generally have to be done with various visas also. And each visa is a bit different, and we can definitely guide you through those. And if we can't answer the questions, we can definitely put you in contact with our migration agent at Ernst & Young, who's happy to sort of answer those questions for you. So under the Stream 1 perspective, you really have up to 4 years to get across to Australia, or New Zealand, Australia, sorry, and commence your studies with ADC Warriors and sit the exam here in Australia. The one drawback on this at the moment is with the employer-sponsored work visa, the government does not allow us to provide permanent residency to anyone who is working as a dental assistant. So in that 4-year period, there's a bit of a time pressure there to pass your ADC exams and get registered as a dentist here in Australia, so then we can re-sponsor you either as a permanent resident or on another work visa for another period of time. So you've done all the hard work, you've passed part 2, you've gained registration in Australia. It's super exciting for you guys because it's a lot of hard work, and we really appreciate how much effort that you would have put into making that transition from leaving your home countries to come to Australia and New Zealand. So once you're ready to transition to practice as a dentist, there are 3 visa options we can look at here in Australia. The first one, as I mentioned before, is obviously you've come across on an independent PR visa. That visa has no work restrictions or conditions, and that's generally a visa that you have covered yourself. If you require a visa and require us to help you, we have a few options to consider, and that is the employer-sponsored work visa or the employer-sponsored permanent residency visa. Now, this is really complicated. It's taken me a while to understand immigration law in Australia, but what I would like to say is, for us, the idealistic, if you want to live here permanently in Australia, the ideal for us is to get you on that permanent residence visa as quickly as possible. In some instances, we can do that in a 2-year period, apply for that visa. In some instances, we may be able to lodge that visa from the day dot and have you on a bridging visa. So each person is going to be very different, but what it is important for us is to ensure that if you would like to be here on a permanent basis in Australia, we will look at the most effective way and quickest way to get you onto that permanent residency visa moving forward. So at the moment, the view is that we would look at an employer-sponsored work visa. That gives you up to 4 years in Australia to work as a dentist. And I do have a bit of a side note there that says that we need to get a visa approved before we can get you working as a dentist, because these visas are dependent on the profession that you've been hired for. So as soon as you've passed your ADC exam, we would start preparing your work visa application, lodge your application into immigration, so that as soon as you've become registered as a dentist via APRA, we would hope that your visa would be approved at roughly the same time, allowing you to start working as a dentist in Australia. And then obviously we have our employer-sponsored permanent residency visa. These visas do have some restrictions on where you can work, and generally we can't sponsor these positions in metro locations in Australia. So that does rule out Metro Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, and probably about an hour out of the CBD for all 3 of those cities. But other major cities like Perth, Adelaide, Canberra, or Hobart, we can definitely sponsor on a permanent residency visa, or alternatively in regional areas. Now, once you've transitioned to practice and you are requiring visa, Abano Healthcare will cover all the visa for you and your family. So we'll provide you with a migration agent. We cover all the employer costs for the visa holder and also for the family costs also. So it's about $15,000 Australian for the application and the nomination for yourself. And then we can cover up your partner, which is about 2,500 for permanent residency and 3,000 for the work visa. And then children are about $805 to about 1,300. We will, if we have to do two visas, we'll do two visas. But as I said before, our ideal for us is to get you onto a permanent residency visa as quickly as possible. And we'll look at the most cost-effective way to do that also. Now, there are some offers in here also that I also would like to talk about. In Australia, we obviously have two ways of remuneration for our dental clinicians. The most typical way is that you're employed as an independent contractor, and you earn 40% of whatever you bill on a yearly basis into the organisation, paid monthly. Alternatively, the other option is you are employed as an employee and get paid a base salary. So both those options are available to the independent PR visa holder. The other two visas, which are employer sponsored, we do need to employ you. So that does rule out being on an independent contractor agreement. But what we do is we will pay you a salary between 140 to 180,000 base salary plus super. But then there's a commission wash up. So what our accounts team does every month is they look at your billings, calculate out 40% of that billing, whatever you've made in salary that is deducted off that, and then anything in excess is paid to you as your bonus, also as your commission also. It's a great way when you're moving to a new country or moving to a new area, just have a bit of stability being on an employment contract. So that's why we do offer it and offer it in this way and have that wash up so you're not sort of losing any monies also. If you are relocating, we do offer relocating to a different location, and that's in line with our internal relocation policy. But ideally for me, if you're coming in via Stream 1, we would have placed you in an area that you would like to work in and that you'd like to remain there. But sometimes life changes, and if you do need to relocate, we'd like to be flexible also and provide you with support to relocate to a new location and keep you within the group. CE allowance. Dr. Nazia has spoken about this amazing CPD program that she's developing with her team. So when you come on board under transition to practice as a dentist under Stream 2, we will provide you with $10,000 Australian to go towards your CPD training for your first 12 months, in addition to your earnings also. Now, we do have a sign-on bonus also that is for people who come to us directly under Stream 2. So if you are coming to Abano as a registered dentist and having gone through the Stream 1 program with Abano, we'll provide you with a $10,000 sign-on bonus to help compensate for some of the costs you incurred while doing the ADC exams previously. Now, under the Stream 1 program, this generally is the $20,000 that we provide you over the 2 years to go towards travel and accommodation and visas, and exam costs and study costs. So that's why we don't offer it for anyone coming via Stream 1, because we've already covered it off in Stream 1. Obviously, 2-year expectation that the financial outlay that we are in regards to visas and CE allowance, that we would like a commitment of 2 years. Again, a number of applicant costs that do come into this: English tests, police clearances, medical assessments. The other benefit for working with us as a dental support organisation is that we do have access to a lot of discounts and suppliers. So once you sign an agreement with us as a dentist, we'll introduce you to an onboarding team who'll start with introducing you to our marketing team who'll help build your books and network and make sure that you have patients from day one. We have agreements with dental labs here in Australia and New Zealand and various suppliers. So when you come across and it's a whole new territory for you, we want to make sure that you have the support you need to hit the ground running on day one and know that you've been supported by us with access to some of the best deals out there, whether it's Invisalign, dental labs, or just your consumable products that you use on a daily basis. Now, as a dental support organization, we do go out and negotiate some really great deals with suppliers in the market space. But the most important thing to remember is we do not dictate clinical standards within the organization. Yes, you are to operate clinically within the APRA and the DCNZ guidelines. But when it comes to practice world, you are the clinician, and it's not us in the dental support organization dictating you how to practice. So if there's a product you would prefer to use, our procurement team will go and look for that product and get the best deal possible for you to use that product. So we have a number of agreements with a lot of suppliers out there to give you the best opportunity to practice the medicine and the clinical standards that you would like to do in the market space. This was a bit of a challenging one for me because I wanted to give you a bit of a guideline of what it could look like for you. So what I've done is I've looked at this as an eight-year program, and I'll stress again, everyone's going to have a very different situation, and I've done this as broadly as I can. So hopefully it's not too confusing. So in the first 4 years, if you were coming across as on stream one, what we'd have the opportunity for you to do is work as a dental assistant for up to 4 years in Australia on a 482 visa while you're studying for your ADC final exam through ADC Warriors. I'd expect that many of you would start passing that exam around the first year and a half, maybe first year onwards. So, you've got three and a bit years to pass the ADC exam, and I'm very confident with the great work that Dr. Nazia and her team are doing. Many of you guys would be set up for success to do that very early. Once you've passed that exam, what we would do is we could start applying for your employer-nominated work visa. Now, this visa can be up to 4 years, but what we like to do is apply for it for 3 years. And then at the 3-year mark, at the 2-year mark, we are allowed to apply for PR for you. So in a normal sort of standard situation, and as I mentioned before, everyone's going to be a bit different. Once you've hit the 2-year mark, we can immediately apply for your permanent residency. So that's why we lodge for a 3-year visa, because immigration does look at the number of days that you've been in country. So at 2-year mark plus 1 day is when we generally like to apply for your permanent residency visa. And at the moment, those permanent residency visas are taking about 12 to 18 months to approve. So if your 3-year work visa runs out, you will automatically go onto a bridging visa until your permanent residency visa is approved. But what we are finding is that for most locations, especially in Queensland and in WA, they are being approved in roughly about 9 months. So ample time to sort of get that visa through. The next stage is obviously your permanent residency visa. Now, permanent residency visa, a 186 visa is employer-sponsored visa. So we're sponsoring you to be in Australia. And you do have to have a minimum of 3 years clinical work as a dentist, and that can be either in your home country or in Australia. So the challenge that I do have is coming out of, if you do come over on a 482 visa as a dental assistant, we can't step you straight into a permanent residency visa straight away, because we do need to nominate you as a dentist on a work visa for a period of time, so you get the opportunity to work as a dentist. So there's a bit of toing and froing around here, but we would hope that by the middle to the end of 4th year in the country, we could start applying for your permanent residency visa. But we do appreciate that in some situations, we could be applying for your permanent residency visa in the 3-year mark period also. Now, the exciting part about it is we have had some citizenship changes here in Australia, and if you'd like to become a citizen in Australia, after you've been in the country for 4 years and 12 months on a permanent residency visa, you can apply for citizenship. And that's a very easy process to do. So, in a perfect world and everything has gone really smoothly, by about the 5th year mark of being in Australia, we could have you moving from your permanent residency into a citizenship situation in the country. Really mindful that on our work visas, the 482 visas, some people don't have access to our public health system and also to childcare. So that is also another reason we're very supportive of getting people on permanent residency visas as quickly as possible, because that just helps reduce the cost to everyday life that people have. For New Zealand, I'll quickly tap on New Zealand. We obviously offer the same opportunity in New Zealand for Stream 1 and Stream 2. We're just working with our migration agent in New Zealand. We are an accredited employer for work visas in New Zealand, and we're just trying to understand some nuances of sponsoring someone as a dental assistant and then transitioning them to a dentist in New Zealand. So I'll have a bit more information on that, and I can share that via Dr. Nazia and her awesome team at ADC Warriors. New Zealand does operate a bit differently to Australia. So as a dentist, the base salaries for a dental assistant is 70,000 as it is in Australia for Stream 1. But as a dentist, you do get 130,000 as a base, plus then commission. So similar to Australia, whatever you've billed or earned revenue-wise, you get a percentage of that minus the base salary already. So you're not just, you're not put at a disadvantage for being an employee versus an independent contractor. And the very cool part about it is if you register in Australia and decide that you want to go and live and work in New Zealand, our Trans-Tasman Mutual Recognition allows dentists to make that move really quickly over to New Zealand also. So progressing and registering interest, I thought it'd be helpful just to sort of go through a couple steps that I was thinking about how best to facilitate this for everyone. And there's probably 4 steps that we look at. Obviously, the first step is to connect with ADC Warriors Academy and talk to them about the Stream 1 if you're looking to do your studies here in Australia. And then if you're looking to do Stream 2, just ask for that request to be introduced to Abano. Now, it's really important that you direct your interest in via ADC Warriors, just so that we can monitor the people coming through the right channels. We do find that sometimes people apply via various other websites, and it's really important for us to make sure that this program is really successful and that you have the best experience possible. So when you come via ADC Warriors, you go into a very hypercare process with my team here in Australia and New Zealand. So once you've spoken to ADC Warriors, whether it's Stream 1 or Stream 2 or Stream 1 and then Stream 2, that would introduce your details to us at Abano, and your details will be sent to my team. So I've got 12 people that work across Australia and New Zealand, and I've got a lovely lady who joined me this week who's going to be looking after the ADC Warrior account and will become the primary point of contact for everyone. So she'll work with you. And what she'll do is, once she's received your details, she'll set up a time to have a conversation with you and really understand what you're looking to achieve in your career. So whether it's Stream 1, whether it's Stream 2, Stream 1 and 2, and what's really important for you, where you would like to work, what's important for you from a cultural perspective, and any information that you have in regards to visas, the relocation, cost of living, we can help answer those questions for you at that time. At the end of that conversation, Tanya or one of the team will go away and look at all the opportunities that we have within the group and come back to you within 48 hours and let you know these are the opportunities that we feel meet your requirements, and these are potentially the opportunities we feel you would be great for, but may not meet your requirements, to give you an opportunity to go and do some research and understand the location, the practice, and whether they are right for you. And we're very happy for you to meet and greet virtually or in person if you're in the country, any of our practices to make sure that it is the right opportunity for you. At this point, we also talk about how best to prepare for external matters like visas, registration, healthcare, English language tests, police clearances that we need. If we've got anyone coming in from America, we do have to do FBI checks, which take three months to get FBI checks. So it's a lengthy process. So what we try to do is once we know where you're coming from and the visas that you need, we try to give you as much information up front so that you come into this process really well armed with a bit of a rough time frame in mind of what needs to be done when and where, to make it as smooth as possible. Once you've looked at all the opportunities we've presented to you, we're happy for you to go and explore the opportunities. We can set up meetings for you to meet with our teams, our clinical teams, and have the conversations that you'd like to have. That's step 3 for us is once you've done all the meetings that you'd like to have, we'll provide you with the feedback from our side and also get your feedback. And if there's a match, if there's a practice you really like working for and you'd like to work for, we'll go ahead and present a formal offer to you in regards to offer package that I've sort of gone through just before. And that's reflective of the experience that you bring into the role here in Australia. And then let you decide from there and sort of support you, give you time to decide. And then if we don't have any opportunity, I think the key thing for us is this is really important for us to get right. And we do not want to place someone in a role knowing that they will not be happy or it's not right for them. So we really want to have open communication with you in regards to that right role so that when you're going into an opportunity or when you're starting with us, you're feeling really comfortable that it is right, and that if something's not right, that you can come and have a chat to us and make sure that we can address it or look at something to remedy the situation. Because sometimes relocating from one country or even relocating from one state to another state in Australia can be very challenging. Once you've decided on step 4 on the location you'd like to go to, we'll begin the onboarding process. That's obviously looking at visas if we need to do visas, relocation support, support with registration. Similar to our clinical support that we offer, we've got a lot of providers out there. So with airlines, we have financial advisors. We have a company who helps set you up if you are an independent contractor, helps you manage your invoicing and helps manage your tax and Australian superannuation pension, and in New Zealand also. So we've got a number of providers that we can provide you that will sort of help alleviate the stress of having to get things set up and not set up that you need when you need to move across. We'll also then introduce you to our internal teams, our marketing team, who'll start setting you up on the marketing side, and also our lab providers and suppliers. So we appreciate that many people who come across from a different country don't have lab providers here. So we've got a number of lab providers that we can introduce you to. Many of them provide a deal for you to try before you buy, start using them more regularly, so you see the quality of work that they provide from a lab perspective. And then sort of at the end of stage 4, it's really finalizing your start date and commence working. And for us, getting you into the country or relocating you from one state to another state, or even just changing job in the same city is really important for us. So, that's whether one of our team meets you at the airport once you've arrived, so you have a familiar face, introducing you to the team, having a welcome lunch and morning coffee with the team, so you get to meet the team and get to know people. We can set you up with real estate agents or give you advice on schooling locations if you have children. So we have all that information ready to go. All we need is for you to have that conversation with us in step 2 about what you're looking to do and what support you need. And then we can sort of help tailor that opportunity for you. Goodness, I've spoken a lot. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of questions.
Well, we have a lot of questions and the questions are still coming. So I'll just kind of read out, and there's some questions they're asking about, specific things. So we'll go from the top, and they say, could you please explain how this applies to New Zealand for Stream 1?
Yep. Stream 1 will be exactly the same as Australia. The only thing I'm just trying to work out at the moment is just the visa situation. So if you do need a visa, I probably need another week on that, and then I can come back to you. We have a meeting with our migration agent on Tuesday at 11 o'clock New Zealand time, just to make sure that we don't have any challenges down the track when we transition you from a dental assistant to a dentist. But if you already have a visa in New Zealand and working in New Zealand, then we can start the process pretty quickly already and have that conversation already.
Yes, and another question that keeps coming to us as well. Let's say they don't require any visa, they're a permanent resident in Australia or New Zealand. How can they take part in Stream One? I mean, how is it going to apply to them?
Yeah. So if you hold a permanent residency visa, it removes a lot of the background work. So if you'd like to apply for Stream One, uh, connect with the ADC Warrior team. They'll introduce you. So long as we do, we just need to do a visa check with immigration, and then we can get you working straight away. So it's a very streamlined, hassle-free process once you have that permanent residency visa straight away.
All right. And you said, so what about applying twice? You mentioned about they would be applying twice, stay for 4 years. And she says, Liba says she's cleared her ADC Part 1 in 2023. So what is the cut? Like you mentioned about having a 3-year validity for Part 1. So what
Yeah.
is the minimum?
So that's really down to the fact that if we need to sponsor someone on a employer work visa, we do have that 4-year restriction on the visa. So two visas at 2 years each. So for us, that 3 years is just sort of a bit of a guideline, really, from a visa perspective. But everyone's very different. So I'm happy for you to reach out to me and have a chat about your personal situation, and I can sort of guide you better on that one also.
Yeah, because some of them they have their theory valid for 1.5 year. So they
Yep.
don't have a 2 year. Can they still apply for this
Yep.
program for Stream 1?
Yep. Definitely can still apply. So we just say that 4 year because of the 4-year work visa. Because if you go into that visa, we're a bit restricted. But if you have another visa, we can definitely work with it and find a solution for you also.
All right. And Dr. Dashi is asking, do you have any clinic in Adelaide? So she's a registered dentist.
In Adelaide, yes, we do. So we've got 10 practices in South Australia. So and we've got 8 around Adelaide, north and south of Adelaide. So I'm happy to sort of provide some details there also. Do need to nominate.
Sorry about that. And also we have, is there any age limit for the candidates to apply?
Oh, good question. The only age limit we have is when it comes to the permanent residency visa. So if you do need a permanent residency visa and we are looking at the employer sponsored visa, you do need to be under the age of 45 when we apply for that visa. There are some workarounds on that one, but generally as a rule of thumb, 45 is the cutoff that immigration has in both Australia and New Zealand for permanent residency visas. But everyone's, as I mentioned before, everyone's a bit different. So I'm happy to have off this call conversation with someone and look at the personal situation also to see whether there's a workaround on that one.
All right. And then also we have questions about, is there any part-time opportunities? So Rabia has recently cleared her exam. She is going through registration at the moment. So looking for any part-time packages as a registered dentist.
Yeah, definitely. So we generally like our dentists to work, we say a minimum of 2 to 3 days, just because that allows you to build a stable client base and patient base. But we're very flexible in regards to understanding your personal needs and location, and if we can make that work, we'll make it work also. But generally, most of our dentists work 2 days or more within the group.
So they can still do that part-time.
Yep.
Okay. So Dr. Zainab, she's a registered dentist in Tasmania. She's been incredible, and she's asking a question that currently she's working in Tasmania as a full-time dentist, and she would like to know more about the CPD courses and the mentors to have if she's moving. So for the CPD, we have Dr. Tatiana. She's a Brazilian dentist. She has been teaching in university as well. So she's going to be the one leading. So we're going to be basically sharing all the details with you about her program. This is an entire 1-year graduate program that will cover everything from start to finish. Given in the budget that we have, that Abano is providing, everything will be fully covered, including implant, ortho, and general dentistry, everything.
Great. And we were really supportive when Dr. Nazia mentioned Dr. Tatiana's program and CPD course because we feel it's really important for you to have that support coming into Australia and New Zealand. We also have our clinical advisory team in-house, and we have various courses that we develop also. So, you're more than welcome to also jump into our courses if you need to. We have implant courses and Invisalign courses that some of our suppliers provide also. So you'll have an ample amount of mentorship, but really excited to have you being mentored by Dr. Nazia's team.
And then could you please tell us about, I've heard about the Abano University and how you guys promote education. Could you tell us a little bit more about how does that work?
Yeah, sure. So Abano University for us was really designed. So we're probably in stage one for Abano University. That's focused on our dental assistants because what we have found is in Australia and New Zealand, it's a TAFE course to do your dental assistant course. So we wanted to really develop our dental assistants and provide more education. So we've gone through stage one. We've developed an in-house training course, and we're about to get accredited to train our dental assistants and give them qualifications as DAs. And now the team behind Abano University is looking at our leadership course, our clinical leadership courses, and also our clinical advisory team are also now looking at training courses in Abano University for clinicians to do extra training and learning. What we'd like to do is have a resource available to all of our team members so that they can sort of go and pick and choose where they'd like to go with their career and have the opportunity to be supported from a Abano University perspective.
And I think that's the most important thing. I think what makes Abano stand out is the continuous education that you promote, the growth mindset. I think that's incredible to see that. So there are also people asking, other than DA, is there any other positions that they would be available to kind of work? There are some that have good skills in managers and, there are any other options for them.
Yeah, sure. We can definitely put people across our practices. So we've got a few international dentists working for us in reception roles. We've got a few working as practice managers in the group also. And then we have also someone who has transitioned out of practice and working in our corporate head office in a support office role. So there's definitely opportunities out there. We've kind of gone with the dental assistant purely to give you mentorship by a dentist here in Australia and that support structure. But if you'd like to do something outside of working in a DA perspective, we're definitely happy to have that conversation.
Yes. And we have Dr. Mavi. She has just posted on our Facebook. She's the first one in our stream too, and she's speaking highly about it.
Oh,
She's
that's
very
great.
happy. She's already quite happy with the support, Dr. Mavi. And also there's Mara's asking like, how long is the whole process going to take for stream one if they get selected for the program initially? So from interview to visa, like how many months are we looking at?
Yeah, so our recruitment process is generally 2 to 3 weeks from introduction from ADC Warriors to us. We'd like to give you as much time as you need to make an informed decision and as much information as it takes to make an informed decision. And depending on the visa, so generally, if you have your IELTS exam done, we can have your visas lodged in roughly 9 to 12 weeks from offer. From initial contact to sort of lodging visas is about 9 to 12 weeks. Further to that, we're then relying on immigration and how quickly immigration takes to process visas. So we're generally saying about 5 months to be on the ground by the time you're on the ground in Australia if you're looking for a employer work visa. But if you already have a work visa for Australia or New Zealand, in New Zealand it's 3 months for accredited work, so it's slightly quicker. But if you already have a work visa, we can have an offer and have you starting within 3 months.
All right, great. Dr. Ahmed, he's also newly passed out. He's our ADC grad, and he's now fully registered with APRA. And he said he's on a bridging visa due to partnership visa application. And he's asking, if I join your program in stream 2, can you still sponsor me here for a permanent residency?
We definitely can. So if you're on a partner visa, bridging visa, we would get you to speak to Ernst& Young, our migration agent, and then they would advise you the best visa option for you. And we would have that at the start of our conversations with him, just so you would be fully aware of the situation and what we could do moving forward. But I don't think we'd have an issue without not to sponsor you.
And he's got another question. The thing I love about Dr. Ahmed is very honest about it. So he's asking, let's say if he does join your program, would he still be able to work for another clinic not under the Abano umbrella? Is he allowed to do so?
Yep. So the only visa that there is a restriction on that is when you're on an employer work visa as a dental assistant or as a dentist. So these visas do have a restriction that you can only work for one employer. And the reason for that is many years ago, there was an issue with underpayment of international workers. So the government put a rule in that you were only allowed to work for one employer so they could monitor earnings to make sure that companies weren't underpaying their staff. So, but once you have that visa, if you are not happy and you want to go to another company, you can definitely transfer that visa also. But under that work visa, that's the only one that you have a restriction. If you have a employer-sponsored PR visa, there isn't any restrictions or mandates. There's just a general understanding of commitment there from the government.
All right. So Dr. Mishram, he has also recently our new grad. He just recently cleared his exam despite the low pass rate. He's asking a question as he's going through APA registration. He said, so he's currently based in Sydney. So following questions would be catered towards stream 2. He's looking at stream 2. Does this program have any experience requirement, fresh grad, mid-senior, senior dentist, or he can apply?
No, congratulations. There's so many people who've passed the ADC exams. That must be really exciting for everyone. There is no restriction. So the only restrictions we generally have is when it comes to visas. So if we have to do an employer-sponsored visa, we need people to have a minimum of 2 years work experience to get a work visa and minimum of 3 years for the permanent residency visa. So that's the only restrictions we have. Everyone's really different. And the one thing I want to say is all of our practices are really different also. So we want to make sure that when we're talking to you about opportunities, that we're finding the right practice for you. So if you're a grad and you need mentorship, we would like to find a practice that gives you that mentorship. Or if you're a more experienced dentist with an interest in orthodontics or doing more implant work, we'll try to find you that practice in the location that you're looking for that gives you that experience or that exposure to make sure that you're living your best life in Australia and New Zealand and not sort of in a practice that you're not enjoying.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about Abano is even though it's a corporate, but it doesn't feel like corporate. It's like so custom. It's so supportive.
It is, and it is. And look, prior to dentistry, I worked in veterinary care for 7 years, and we had the very similar situations in veterinary care. And I love working for a dental support organization because each practice is independent, and you have the support of a large organization who can do all the heavy lifting like marketing and finance and recruiting and bringing in good DAs and making sure your DAs are really well supported and some really good deals in regards to dental labs and lab work and consumers. But every practice is going to be different, which is really cool.
Which is really good. And so Dr. Mishram is also asking that currently he's in the process of getting his APRA registration. So do you still recommend for him to wait until he gets his full registration to connect with you, or can he do it now?
Start straight away. Straight away. Yeah. As soon as you've passed, as soon as you, we're happy. As soon as you sit your part 2 exams, we're happy to start, having conversations with you. You want to have a life here, and we know that, holding you to wait to get your APRA is really hard. So we will start those conversations as quickly as possible. We will provide, we obviously can't offer you a role until we know you've passed ADC2. But we will, we're happy for you to go to have interviews and have the conversations. And then as soon as you've passed ADC2 exam, we can put an offer on the table and get it going for you and wait while you get your APRA registration. The challenge we have at the moment is all the Australian graduates are graduating now, so APRA is going to get really busy over the next few weeks and months. So the sooner we can get you in and offered and working, the better for you.
All right. And then he's also asking now, could you revisit the terms and the 2-year clawback for
Yeah.
stringent?
So this is just in regards to um, the financial on the visa front predominantly. So if you come on board and we're paying for visas and all that, we just ask for a two year commitment, and generally that is prorated over the 2 year period. So generally it's if you leave, and it's based on you know it's based on having an informed conversation. So if you're not happy and you've got to go home or something happens, we'll have a conversation with you. We want to be fair, but it's a bit of a safety guard for us also, that if you come on board and you're not happy and you need to leave, then there's a bit of a clawback there. It's generally 100% of the first 12 months, and then first 7 months, and then it scales down to 0% over the 2 years. Uh, Everyone's going to be sort of different, and we haven't had to go down this route in the past. We've had a few people that have had to leave and go back home, um, but it's generally for the costs that we talk about the costs that we in regards to sponsoring for visas or CPD.
Yes. And another thing, Derek, I wanted to kind of talk about it because I am working with other single owners, working in the regional. They're desperate to have DA, but they cannot sponsor. So it is such a unique visa that you're offering. And I don't think so if anybody else is offering this visa for a dental assistant while they're giving. So there's a lot of questions that we are coming across. How can they apply? I mean, what is so unique about this visa?
Yeah, look, I can understand why um, organizations don't offer it, because it's for independent practices, it's quite a lot of money to get accredited by immigration to be able to sponsor. And there's a lot of uh, administrative work that we need to look at to manage these visas also. But also, it's quite expensive. I hate to say it, but I think sometimes employers see dental assistants as not as valuable as they are in true life. But yeah, without a good dental assistant, you don't run a practice. So for us, the government allows us to sponsor dental assistants. We do have some legislation there that we need to make sure that we consider Australian residents first, and New Zealand residents, Australian or New Zealand residents first before we go international. But for us, we're very comfortable to invest in a dentist who would like to practice in Australia, and get that experience as a dental assistant, because it's a short-term investment on our side, for a long-term gain for you and to help someone start their career in Australia. So there's benefits for both parties.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just such a unique, there was much needed gap here. So we've got up with Dr. Lucila is asking, so which locations near Sydney they could apply as a dental assistant or a dentist?
Yeah, so in Sydney, so I know we definitely need dental assistants and dentists at Avalon Beach, on the North Shore, and down in Cronulla, and in Punchbowl here in Sydney also. Um, that I'm not 100% sure whether Punchbowl, we may have issues sponsoring someone as a dentist in Punchbowl, but so it depends on the visa situation in Punchbowl. But for Cronulla and Avalon Beach, they fall out of the radius of immigration, so we'd be able to sponsor for dentists up in Avalon and in Cronulla.
All right. And what about Perth? So Dr. Rabi is asking, she's a resident in
Oh,
Perth. Do you have
Perth.
any practices in Perth?
Yep. Sorry. Did you say Sydney before, or was it Perth?
No, so first Sydney, now Dr.
Oh,
Rabi
okay,
is
cool.
asking
Sorry.
about Perth. So now we
Okay.
have Perth.
So we do have practices in Perth. So we've got 10 practices in Perth. So we have Yokine, Morley. We have practices as far down as Mandurah, and in Subiaco. So there's 10 practices over there, and also in Busselton. So if you're not, it's a bit further out of Perth, but there are 9 practices north of the river and south of the river.
And one thing I think I wanted to add here, we had a discussion about the integration, culturally integrating them. So you mentioned about having overseas dentist and then overseas DA in the same clinic, which
Exactly.
would make it so much easier for them to kind of work together and integrate
Yeah.
as well.
So the one thought process, it's probably going to take us about 12 months to get this up fully and running properly, is what we'd like to do is pay it forward a tiny bit and have practices where we have dentists who have passed the ADC exams and have ADC exam students come through, um, and provide a bit of a community and support structure there, because you'll have been through it, um, and also the pressures that these people are going through at the moment as they sit the exam. So we have a number of ADC exam holders in our business at the moment who have passed exams and working, and very passionate about providing support to students also. So um, for me, I'd love to find the opportunity in some of our locations where we have a continuation of people coming in working as dental assistants or in other roles, and then getting their qualifications as dentists and continuing as dentists in the group, and then mentoring the next people as they come through on this interesting and crazy journey.
It is, and I think many of them they have come back to me as well. If the clinic they apply as a dental assistant, if they do find out they're a dentist, they don't even offer them a job. So that's another issue that the support that they're going to get as a dental assistant is incredible. Now, Dr. Anjali is asking, what if a person clears ADC Part Two and they have zero experience? Do they need to work as a DA first and then as a dentist? Because that's something we've heard and seen.
Yeah, cool. Um, so if there's no experience at all, then um, the ch the challenge would be if we need to do an employer visa. We'd have a few challenges there. But if you have a independent visa, permanent residency visa, we wouldn't have an issue. What we could do if you have no experience is we have a yearly graduate intake in Australia. So we have a program in-house. So we would offer you to be on that program in-house, plus then also be on the CPD training course with Dr. Nazia, the ADC Warriors also. So you'd get a lot of training and support in your first year. And what we'd love to do is find you a practice that has a strong mentor there who can sort of give you time and support you as you transition to get experience in the workforce.
Absolutely. So rather than building the pressure for them to make certain amount of bandwidth, but you're going to be supporting them in terms of learning the skill and then building the patient the right way.
That's correct.
Um, Now, they need some tips for the Stream 1 candidates, want some tips for this interview. So could you please give them a tip of what questions would you be asking them in the interview?
um, cool. So I'm actually Sydney based, so I'm flying to Brisbane tomorrow. Tanya, who's going to be running the program for us, will be designing the interviews. But for us, the interviews really. So there's going to be two interviews, really. The first interview is with my team, and that's going to be for us. It's going to be really inquisitive, and we're going to want to know about who you are, where you're from, your experience, what are you looking to do with your career, why are you coming to Australia, what's brought you to Australia, and what are you looking for in regards to support, location. We have 112 open dentist positions at the moment across Australia and New Zealand. Um, but we want to make sure that you're going into the right one that suits you. And we don't want to put you in a position that's not right. So that first meeting with us is going to be really exploratory. So it's going to be a lot of personal questions about, do you like the beach? Do you like mountains? Do you like hot weather? Do you like cold weather? So
Those are
being
nice
really,
questions.
yeah, I know they're good, aren't they? So being really informative about the probably the more important meeting after that is probably the clinical meeting when you meet the clinical teams, and that is, the one thing I say to people is don't be nervous about them, because you're interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you, and come prepared with what the questions you can ask is, what are you looking for a dentist coming into this role? How can I work better with the team? And ask questions that are going to give you that information that you're looking for from an employer also. But I can send some tips and questions also after this.
Yeah, because they keep asking me, what are they going to ask? I said, okay, I'll try and see, decode it. And then so Derek, how many more questions are we allowed? They're allowed to ask.
Oh, I've got heaps of time.
Okay, great. If you're happy to proceed, very good question because these are the questions that I'm not able to answer myself. So now we have Flora. She asked on a Facebook. She said, "Is there any limit to the hours?" I know she's looking for a dental assistant job. So is it again with dental assistant? Are they allowed to go part time or full time?
Yep. So it depends on the visa that you're on. So if you're on an employer-sponsored visa, we do have a restriction on work hours, and that's dictated by the government, which is generally 38 hours employment. Um, there may be some leeway around that coming up in the new year with some of the immigration changes, but it will depend on the visa. But if there's no restrictions or conditions set by the visa, by immigration, then more than happy for people to work part-time and casually also.
All
One of
right.
the programs we do have um, in areas like Brisbane, where we've got a lot of practices, is we have um, dental Australian dental students who work as roaming dental assistants. So they go around to various practices and work a day or 2 days here as a dental assistant to cover short-term needs. And that just gives an exposure to a variety of different practices. So that's an opportunity also. So if someone didn't want something full-time and just wanted some ad hoc work, we could look at something like a floating dental assistant. So you could be called in for various shifts around the week when you're available. So you could experience different work environments, see different locations, and get a different exposure to the Australian workforce.
I think I would love that as well. Just rotating more exposure, that would be great.
Yeah.
And I think we had Dr. Tati as well, that the ones she was asking me as well. She's an orthodontist. We had a chat about it. So there are people that are surgeon, orthodontist, they have specialty. And as they pass their exam, how are they going to be working in their own field? Like they want to be work in as an orthodontist, they want to work like in this specific area. How does that work with the Banner?
Yeah, this is a great question, and we don't have the magic solution for this, but I can tell you what we're doing at the moment. Um, Dentists who don't want to, so people who've become specialists in their home country and come to Australia, maybe they just want to work as general dentists and with a special interest in orthodontics. We can set you up within our general practices group and have you as a general dentist with a specialist interest in orthodontics. But what we are finding is we have a number of specialists who have had to sit the Australian ADC exams to work here, um, but they are finding the specialist registration really hard. Instead, they can get registration in New Zealand really easily. So through the prescribed or non-prescribed course. So we've just appointed our fourth international specialist from Australia to go and work in New Zealand. Um, so they apply for registration in New Zealand, and then they have a 6 months supervision clause that they need to do in New Zealand before they become fully registered in New Zealand. So we've had an orthodontist, two periodontists, and an endodontist go across to New Zealand for 6 months to do their supervised training so they can get registered as a specialist in New Zealand and then with a trans-Tasman recognition come back and work in Australia. So it's a bit of a long way to get there, but that is an option that we're very open to considering at the moment and helping people with.
Yeah, because there's one person that I'm teaching. He's a maxillofacial surgeon. I mean, he's got but still going through ADC exam, which is
Yeah.
again very hard. Again, Dr. Mission was asking. Probably that question is for me. So he's looking at stream two. So how can they apply even for stream two? So then the process will be they will be sending us their CV, and then we forward it. We connect them with Tanya, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then we'll
So for the time
basically.
being, just while we've literally just launched, um, so working with Dr. Nazia and her team to just find the best solution. So we're just doing introductions via her team first, just so that we can put everyone into a hypercare process, and so that we know that if you'll come in, you have one point of contact within our team, and then if there's an issue or you feel more comfortable coming back to Dr. Nazia and her team, there's a point of contact that we can all talk about, and so we can make sure that there's no hurdles that we are missing.
No, that's another question on that note. Sometimes they might find me as a nuisance in the middle. So they'll say, can
Or they may find
directly
me.
go to Abano, apply for DA or a dentist? Can they kind of skip me through?
Yeah, look, it was really important for us to have that ADC Warrior connection, and that's why we've kind of landed on that introduction through Dr. Nazia. because we really rate what ADCYs have built. It is amazing facilities and training support programs. So we just wanted to, while we for the next 12 months as we go through setting up this program and making it as amazing as I hope it will be, um, filtering coming through Dr. Nazia and her team is just really important just to make sure that we've got everything right.
All right, wonderful. So Dr. Iram was asking again, she's a Power One candidate in our program. So she was like, if how much time would it take? I think I know you've answered this question before, but how much time would it take for a candidate after passing Power One? So now the exam will be in March, the result will come in April. So what will happen is any of my Part One students, as they pass, I will be referring them to Banner, to Tanya and
Yep.
you. So from the time that I refer them, what are we looking in terms of timeline for them to go through the interview? And again, by the time they get to Australia, let's talk about April.
Yep. So so as soon as we have an introduction, now that Tanya's on board, she'll start. We've got a couple of people that we've had in a holding pattern last week that the lovely Nor has introduced to us already. So she'll start having conversations next week in regards to opportunities. If you do need a work visa, we'll probably need early next year just to wait for the government to make their decision on some of these workplace changes to the Australian salary award. As soon as that's come through, we're ready to go. But what we could do in the meantime is get you ready to get nominations ready, getting your applications ready, getting all the documentation that you need ready. So as soon as that decision's through, we could hit go. But I think we need about 3 months to get everything ready to go with immigration. So from moment introduced to sort of moment we go, we should have your visas lodged within 3 months. And so moment of introduction to the moment we lodge visas should take 3 months, no more than 3 months. After that, we're sort of in limbo with immigration, and that could take as quickly as 24 hours or could take 12 weeks, unfortunately.
So roughly, like if April, I refer them to you. Probably by August, they should be in Australia.
August, yeah. We would hope that by the end of June we have lodged their visas and processing visas. So we'd expect sort of end of August, early September to come into Australia.
That's
Which is
exciting. That's very
probably a good,
exciting for that to
great
go.
time to be coming in. It's not too hot.
It is, yeah. I think it would be good weather by that time. And in terms of Tasmania, somebody was asking, like in Tasmania as well, how many clinics do you have in Tasmania?
Yeah, so we've got 5 clinics in Tasmania. So we've got two up on one in Launceston, one just outside of Launceston, and we have 3 down in Hobart.
Okay. Now, Dr. Florencia, she said, I mean, of course, she's the one that we have already referred. So I'm just waiting for Tanya to do the interview. So she's saying that if you're looking for DA in her area, she's up in Sunshine Coast. Do you suggest her to get in touch with you or still wait for her interview?
Yeah, yeah. So Tanya will be in contact early next week in regards to. I think we've got 7 people that Nor has recommended across. So Tanya will be in contact next week to set up meetings. She'll reach out and have that initial conversation. I'm up in Brisbane from tomorrow to do some training, and we've got our board meeting on Friday. So I'm sort of going to induct Tanya and get her supported, but I'll be on the initial calls with Tanya next week also. So you'll get to deal with me also from next week for a period of time. So if you can just bear with me for another week, then we'll be in contact.
Okay. So Dr. Lucille is asking that, okay, Dr. Dashi is asking, she's looking for stream two. So you mentioned about New Zealand specialization exam. Is it similar to ADC? Are there any special requirement for that?
Yeah, so the New Zealand specialist exam depends on depends on where you've got your degree from. So this very similar to the Australian ADC registration process, but they have a bit more flexibility. So they have the prescribed degree and they have the non-prescribed degree route. It is an expensive course. It is I think it's $25,000 to do the specialist registration in New Zealand, which is something that we're happy to help support also if someone is looking to do that down the track. Um, and it can take uh, 3 to 9 months for that to go through the DCNZ in New Zealand to get that reviewed and approved and get come through as super. And what we're finding is most people that get approved have 6 months supervision in New Zealand requirement before they can get their full registration.
Oh, and that's much still better than ADC, like Australia, for
Yeah,
sure.
it is much better.
So Dr. Lucila is asking, my part two exam will be in June 2026. Does she need to wait until the results to know if she needs to apply for a DA or a dentist position, or can she still be in stream one for now? And then as soon as she clear exam, then we switch her to stream two.
Yeah, so up until you have your pass your 80, well, got your registration with APRA, there's an automatic into stream one for us. And happy to talk about opportunities there, whether it's DA or something else. But as soon as you've passed your dentist, well, as soon as you've passed your ADC exam, that's when we'll start talking to you about. Well, we'll start talking to you before about it anyway. But yeah, as soon as you pass your ADC exam, that's when we'll start talking about the terms and conditions, employment around becoming a dentist and where you'd like to be for that dentist role. Um, so as soon as you get registered, and ideally, depending on visas, if you have a work visa straight away, we can get you working straight away. Or if we need to apply for another work visa, there could be a bit of time there before we transition you to dentist.
And I've got a very interesting question as well. Now, oftentimes, we have couples, both husband and wife dentists. Now, we have, twins in from South Africa, and his one of the brothers he has cleared his ADC exam, while the other one is still going through it.
Yep.
So, is it possible? And his brother's amazing. He's waiting for him to pass, and they can come together. So, I mentioned to them, I said, look, we could discuss this with you if one of them that is registered, they can work as a dentist, and the other one could be in the same practice or around that. Is that an option?
Yeah, definitely. So we do quite a bit of work in South Africa because there's the South African um, degree is more recognized in New Zealand than it is in Australia. Um, so we actually have uh, two couples, so husband and wife team who are going into practices in New Zealand and working there. So we can definitely do something similar for twins or family members where they go in as a dentist and as a dental assistant while they're studying to do that final exam.
Oh, that's good. That's wonderful.
So,
Yeah, these two brothers are amazing. They're so
yeah,
talented.
and we also have depending on the location, but we do have locations where I use Townsville as an example where we have got 6 practices in Townsville. So you could be based in Townsville and be at 2 different practices, but you could live together, or you could, be close enough to have
Yeah,
to see each other on a daily basis.
I think it's not good to have husband and wife in the same practice, but it's okay to have siblings.
Yeah, I couldn't work with my other half.
Because then you're going to bring all the argument home for dinner.
Yep.
Okay. And now one question. So, I mean, now you did mention about the audit. So, how much capacity do we have for next year for Stream One? Like, how many available seats do we have for DA?
Yeah. So at the moment, we envisage that we have 20 positions available for the DA program next year. Um, so we've identified those roles at the moment. So as I mentioned before, the Australian government's just doing a review of the healthcare financial award here in Australia, which would mean that dental assistant salaries would increase. So while we're waiting for them to make that decision of that increase to the salary, we're just holding off putting any visas through because if the increase comes through, we need to increase all your visa, the offer also for these roles to be in line with to be above the award. Um, but we have identified 20 roles that potentially we could have next year.
So now, are these 20 roles for the people that we're going to bring it through sponsorship visa, or there are other that are citizen at the moment?
These these would
Could
be
they be working practice manager?
Yeah. So the 20 positions that we have identified are for a mix of visa holders and also for people who need sponsorship also. So it could be people coming from Australia. And these are the practices that we've identified that we need a strong DA, and we have the opportunity for someone to either go into that practice and become a dentist in 12 months, within 12 months, or there's a practice nearby. If they don't want to be a dentist in the same practice where they've worked as a DA, that there's a practice nearby for them also. So um, we've identified 20, and we've got another 30 on the next list that we sort of wait and see if we have someone for those roles. But we definitely got 20 for the first year, and it will be visa holders or already in Australia.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was my another question. Like, what are the chances that are there going to be more spots available? So we're
Yeah,
looking at 30 more to go. We're
yeah,
really positive we want this to work. uh, yeah, so I think Dr. Sipshid, he's asking if you do clear part two and get registered with APRA, what is the pathway to apply for further specialization in Australia? Any minimum working experience required in Australia before getting into specialty training?
cool. So not a specialist in home country.
Uh, let's say, let's talk about both scenarios. I don't
Well,
know.
both scenarios. Um, I I'm going to be really honest. I find the Australian specialist registration for international specialists really difficult, um, and it is, even people who have come from pre-approved degrees in the United Kingdom and who have become a specialist can get rejected here in Australia. So um, I find the Australian process really difficult. What we have done for people who are looking to study and do the specialist exams here in Australia. So we've got someone in New Zealand who's doing this at the moment. So they've worked with us as a dental assist, a dentist. Um, they got into Melbourne University to do endodontics work, a 3-year degree. Um, so they are currently studying in Melbourne. During the school break, well, during the university break, they're going back to New Zealand and working in practice as a general dentist in the specialist practice. So they get experience and mentor from the endodontist. Uh, and in Melbourne, we've got a situation where we have a periodontist. So we have had a second year student. He's working with us 2 days a week during the school year, and then is working um, pretty much 35 hours over the school term holidays in the practice and getting mentored by the periodontist. We don't have any formal um, training or support for people who go through the specialist exams, but what we try to do is we try to provide them as much flexibility to practice and learn in a specialist environment as much as we can here in Australia.
All right.
But
Um,
yeah, going to New Zealand is probably the easiest way at the moment that we're finding if you're happy to
Now,
uproot
what
your
would
life
you
for 6 months.
say? Because do they really need a special? I know from a country where I come, special being a specialist is a huge thing. But how is
Hmm.
it if I don't work here as a specialist? I mean, would I still be living a good lifestyle? Would I be still be
Uh,
earning good enough?
yeah, look, I think you definitely can, and I think you definitely can work as a general dentist with a special interest in a specialty area, and still earn a really good lifestyle. We have practices um, in areas where we've got patient wait lists for up to 8 weeks in advance. So there's an opportunity there for us and for people to earn a really good living.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think the one of the most important pain point for these fresh grads is because they have zero experience working here, most of them. And so the main, I think for some of them, the biggest attraction is the education, the mentorship that you're providing. I think that's been a really important aspect of the job.
Yeah, I think the mentorship is the important part, and I think what it's hard to uproot your life in a completely different country and come to Australia, uh, and then have a lot of barriers in there and getting work. English may not be first language also. So what I would like to do is make sure that you got that mentorship to help. And it's a huge investment on your behalf also to do these exams. We're looking at what, 20, 25, $30,000 at a minimum to study and sit exams. So where we can provide support, um, we feel that we'd like to pay it forward and hopefully have a great partnership with people in the future who may want to stay and
Okay.
work with us.
So let's say if I refer them to you for stream one as a DA, and they, let's say, didn't get through the interview, can they apply again next year
Definitely.
with new skills
Yep.
again in stream one?
Definitely look, um, and that's it, it's really up. It's down to the practice also, and then we may not have an opportunity that matches what you're looking for, or it may not be right. And um, the one thing we'd like to do is, uh, if you are if if you've struggled in the interview, then we're happy to give you some advice and provide some coaching. Or if you're going to do interviews with other organizations, we're happy to provide you some support also. Um, it's important for us to get it right for both parties. But you may not want to come and work for us in stream one, but you may want to come and work for us in stream two. So always happy to have a conversation.
All right. So same thing they're asking again, who can they contact for their personal situation? So the way moving forward is they contact us, my team, at info@adcwarsacademy.com.au, and my team will connect you guys with Tanya. And Tanya's working with Derek, and then basically we're just gonna hand it to you guys and
Yeah,
moving forward. Yeah, I think we've covered most of the questions here. I think it's just yeah, similar questions. I think we've answered most of it. All right, sounds great. Um, that was a lot of questions.
there's a lot.
Yes, brilliant. All right. No, thank you so much, Derek, for your time. So moving forward, I'm looking forward to see you tomorrow as well.
Definitely.
Uh,
I'm looking forward to getting to Brisbane tomorrow. Thanks for making the time, and happy to have a chat to anyone who's on the call who's got questions. Feel free to reach out via Dr. Nazia's team. We're happy to answer. Everyone's going to have a different situation, different personal situation, and we're happy to try to work with you as much as we can.
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much the questions I've asked. All right. Thank you so much, Derek, for your time. Thank you so much for all the information you provided. And we're so excited to have you on board with us.
Right. Likewise, Dr. Nazia. Have a great night.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate
Bye.
it.